Hi, my name is Jay Oza. I teach, mentor, and coach people on public speaking so they can get winning, high stakes speeches, whether it's one on one, in a small group, or in front of a large audience. I want to talk about how ideas happen. And this is something I've come up with. Nothing big, but hey, you can be the judge whether you think it's worth anything or not. And I like to share my ideas because I get so many of them that there's no point in keeping it. If it can help somebody, then I'd rather have them do it than to sit on it and do nothing with it. Okay? So the idea I came up with this morning when I went for my idea walk, which I have already discussed in a previous video, and I'll also provide a link so that you don't have to do a search and look for it. And I came up with this idea for a dating app. Now, I'm married. Why did I come up with this? Hey, that's how ideas happen. I came up with it and I wanted to discuss it. But before I discuss it, I just want to give you how this idea came together. Okay, because ideas just don't come out of nowhere, right? There are a lot of things you are getting into your brain from different sources, and at some point you're saying, boom, this makes sense. And let's see if there is anything to it. So there's a lot of churning, iteration that you have to go through, and then socialize it with others to see. But remember, if once you come up with it, people are going to talk you out of it. You got to remain firm. They got to give you good reason why not to do it, and you got to believe it, right? Because most of people are not going to get it. They don't think like you. But here's how it is. So the first thing that helped me come up with this idea was reading Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Blank. And specifically at the end, when he talks about blind audition, like how this one woman uh, got audition. I mean, there was Berlin Philharmonic that women were just getting rejected, making it into the orchestra. And a lot of it has to do with their sex, their gender, because they were women, and men who were judging it just couldn't see themselves a woman playing a violin or whatever the instrument was as good as men. But then when they went to blind audition, suddenly more and more women started making it into the orchestra, world's leading orchestra. So at the end, there was a bias that if you saw men all the time playing violin or any other instruments in an orchestra, you tend to pick them, whether that man was better than a woman. But when it's a blind audition, you have to strictly go with the music that you're hearing. So that's one data point. The second data point is that I've actually seen this happen with my son when he made the at a middle school level all shore intermediate band. And I remember when I took him for the audition, he was a total wreck. He didn't want to be there. He had all the body language told me that he just wasn't going to even do well. But in a blind audition, they didn't have to look at him whether his attitude was good, whether his trumpet positioning was right. They just had to listen to the music that he was producing. It evidently he produced good music and he made it. Okay, so I personally saw this happen myself. Okay, so those are two data points. The third data point is I was going for a walk this morning and I listened to this book, Grit, by Angela Duckworth. And there was one particular section where I think it had to do with the story she was telling about one of her colleague at University of Pennsylvania. I think his name is Kaufman. I forgot his first name. And how, as a child, he couldn't do well on the test, and through grit, he ended up going to Carnegie Mellon, and he got rejected actually initially, and then he applied to the opera where the requirement wasn't stringent, and then he transferred into the area that he wanted to pursue. I think was intelligence, and he went on to get a PhD, and now he's a professor at University of Pennsylvania. So I was kind of really that was the trigger point. But there was another trigger point. That is that occasionally I listen to different podcasts, and I stumbled upon this podcast on dating, like how difficult it is for people to find dates using all these applications like Tinder, Bumble, whatever. There's so many out there. I don't know. I've never used them, But I am familiar with Match.com and some of the other ones that are out there. I have never been on any of them, so I don't know what it's like. But anyway, people go on it, they've been successful, and then some of them are not successful. So all of these things come together, and I said, okay, why don't why isn't there an app like this? And there might be, and that's why I'm coming up with this idea to see whether there is an app like this. So it would work something like this. Let's say I am interested in somebody. I get their brief bio, just a brief bio that would get me piques the interest. Okay, whatever, brief bio, not detailed, just a brief, like here's who I am, here's this, and it captures your attention. You select the one that you like, so you select the one that you like out of the bio, and then you get, if you like it, the next thing is you get to listen to the audio of that person, some questions that person would have to answer. I don't know what, but let's just assume that there is an audio roughly about 3 minutes, okay, where the person gets to talk about his interest, what he likes, nothing too detailed, but just who the person is, what he likes to do, something highly casual, okay? Then if you like that audio and said, okay, I like the audio, then the next step would be you would have to then select, based on that audio, you would get, I don't know, 3 pictures, 3 photographs, 3, I think, maybe 5, I don't know, let's say 3. And you got to pick it, that based on the audio, the brief bio, that doesn't tell you who the person is, so you really don't know, but it's going to give you some idea. You got to pick it, that I think based on the audio, this is the person that I think matches this audio. Now, you got to pick it to the point where that's the person you like, okay? Because you like the bio, you like the audio, now you're going to say, okay, if you pick somebody who's, let's say, really handsome, but that's not the audio, then that's not a match. It's not going to work out. What's the point? You're going to reject the guy anyway. So you pick the guy that, if it turns out to be a match, boom, now you match the bio, the audio, and the photograph. Okay, so you're getting much closer to a fit here, right? But it's not a complete fit. It can never be a complete fit. So now, once that happens, let's say you're a woman who did this, the man would suddenly get an alert saying, hey, there was a real solid match, okay, that has taken place. But he doesn't get to see who the person is. He also has to go through the same thing. As soon as the match happens, he gets to read the bio, listen to the voice of the recording that that woman had made, and then he also gets 3 pictures to select. And if he gets it right, now the two can communicate with each other, because now they both have gone through 3 levels of selection: the bio, the audio, and the photograph. And then the next step would be a video, where they make a specific video. Since there is a match, they make a specific video and they both get to see each other's detailed bio. And if that's still a match, then they can talk to each other on the phone and then take it from there. So I just thought this was an idea, Cameron. It seems kind of complicated, but the thing is that there's a lot of people out there that just waste so much time going on dates and dates and dates, and they get frustrated and nothing seems to happen. And they're constantly on the dating market forever and ever. And I thought, like, hey, if there was an app that could just eliminate all of these things quickly, then the person you're going out with, you're almost 80% that you like the person's voice, you like their bio, you like the way they look, you even got to see their video, now you got to see their detailed bio, and you got to talk on the phone. Hey, then you both have almost gotten rid of most of the items that, most of the objections that are likely to come up. Now you just got to make sure that you guys are really compatible. So I don't know. That was my so-called dating app. If there is an app like that, then I'm glad people should be using it, because I think right now people waste a lot of time, and it shouldn't be that difficult, right? It's a little work, but the work is done up front. Right now it seems like a lot of the work is done more on the back end, And that's where a lot of the people get frustrated. Like, I went on a date, I did this, and nothing happened. Well, you don't need to do all that. You can do all that up front. And then, so when you go on a date, the likelihood is that you're going to get a second date. So anyway, what do I know? I don't date, so I've just come up with this application. Maybe it's stupid, but you can be the judge and tell me whether is this something you would like, you would wish, if you're single, that is, that would help you. If so, then maybe I'll pursue it further, and who knows, maybe I'll come up with an app and become a billionaire. You never know. It all starts with an idea and then taking it to the next step. So that's my idea for today. Let me know what you think, and thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, comments, or any suggestions, let me know, and good luck.